How's it going, everybody? It's C-RadTV back here with another video. So, of course, it's time for another Detroit Lions NFL Draft preview. So, of course, in the last preview, we wrapped up all the Day 2 previews by looking at the top Day 2 defensive backs and safeties. And now, we're near the end of the draft previews, as now we're in the Day 3 draft previews. So, in this one, we're going to be looking at all the top Day 3 quarterback prospects. As now pretty much Day 3, which is rounds 4 through 7. It's just looking at depth. And probably the round, if we're going to get a quarterback, more than likely probably the round we're going to probably get a quarterback is in Day 3. So anyway, let's take a look at these quarterback prospects and let's see what we got here. Let's go. So the first QB we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas A&M, standing 6'3", weighing 217 pounds there. We have Kellen Mond. So for Kellen's strengths, he carries a missile launcher for a right arm. So he has a very good, strong throwing arm. He's capable of attacking every level of the field. No worries about ball velocity. Decent mover, has mobility to extend plays, create opportunities outside of structure. You know, his toughness is another aspect of his game that stands out the most. He will stand his ground against oncoming hits to get his throw off. While he isn't an elusive runner, he does have quality build-out speed, and he can consistently find success as a scrambler, so he can run a little bit and throw the ball on the run. In terms of his weaknesses, though, while he is a mechanically clunky QB who does have some footwork issues that likely play into his inconsistent accuracy, he has improved his ball placement over years, but it remains as one of the more notable issues in his game, so he definitely some room for improvement. Confidence in his arm and willingness to attempt any throw can hurt him at times. He will try to force passes and play hero ball rather than just taking a profit and a check down. So you always try and go deep instead of becoming a check down machine. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to DeShone Kizer of the Tennessee Titans. You know, hey, still a QB that actually has a lot of upside, a couple things to work on, but still someone definitely to keep an eye on for sure. So the next QB we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas, standing 6'2", weighing 225 pounds, we got Sam Ehlinger. So for Sam, he's your prototype intangibles QB. In terms of his strengths, he's one of the toughest running QBs in recent history. His legs are one of the biggest aspects of his game. Very natural scrambler, can play when his plays break down. Confident passer, will tackle average without hesitation. When he's put under pressure in the pocket, stays cool and collected. Doesn't get flustered when forced to deal with pass rushers breaking through. His arm isn't great, but he should be able to make most throws with adequate velocity. And in terms of his weaknesses, though, despite his best efforts, accuracy isn't ideal yet for a professional QB. He's more general than specific with where he puts the ball. It can't run his receivers into trouble, so he's got to learn to put his receivers in better positions to succeed. Processing speed and ability to work through his progressions is average. While his touch and timing isn't something that would scare teams off entirely, it is a limiting factor for him. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired quarterback Tim Tebow. So definitely a QB that's more of a scrambler and has a couple accuracy issues, something to improve on for sure. Maybe someone to take a gamble on. We'll see. So the next QB we have here, technically hailing out of Georgia, but never really played a game with Georgia because of the pandemic and originally went to Wake Forest before transferring over. But anyway, standing 6'3", weighing 230 pounds, we got Jameis Newman. So for Jamie's strengths, he has good size and adequate arm talent for the pros. He looks the part from a physical perspective. He was used regularly as a runner in the Wake Forest offense. His comfort level with options and open field running, it's notable, so he always can do those play option reads. He plays the game with an attacking mindset, won't hesitate to let it fly when he spots opening on the deep ball, so if he sees someone deep wide open, he's going to throw it deep. So he'll usually wait and see what happens, let it play out. He'll stand in through hits to get the ball out, demonstrates the strength needed to stand to get firm against hits. Turns his weaknesses, though, mechanically speaking, he has some peculiar habits that hurt his control. Doesn't have a fluid throw in motion, struggles to adjust his motion to account for pressure. While he is sufficiently accurate in the short game, he can't hit intermediate, deep passes with much consistency. Lack of touch is notable. He lacks that type of control as a passer that teams will desire. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired QB E.J. Manuel. So definitely a QB that can hold his own and can make the throws you need him to make and has a strong arm. Couple things to work on for sure, but yeah, still, definitely this is someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next QB we're going to go over here, hailing out of Stanford, standing 6'3", weighing 225 pounds, we got Davis Mills. So for Davis' strengths, he has a good feel for attacking back shoulder throws. His confidence with attacking leverage is notable. Has a pro-ready frame. Has done a good job of filling out. Should be able to handle hits without accumulating a ton of damage, so he can take those hits pretty well. Also brings a good feel for pressure. Knows how to adjust his platform to create throwing lanes and keep himself out of danger, so he knows how to not take sacks and knows how to get the ball out. In terms of his weaknesses, his added weight from 2019 to 2020, it has affected his mechanics. He doesn't throw with a ton of fluidity in his motion. His arm strength isn't a deal breaker. It's average at best for an NFL QB. Won't be able to consistently test tight windows down the field. His lack of experience shows with some of the lapses he has in terms of getting through progressions quickly and making decisions on the fly. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired quarterback Nick Shymanek. So yeah, definitely a QB that can hold his own, but definitely some accuracy issues for sure. Someone maybe to take a gamble on for sure. So the next QB we're gonna go over here, hailing out of Arkansas, standing 6'6", weighing 228 pounds. We got Felipe Franks. So for Felipe's strengths, has a massive frame and a type of arm that can hit any throw on the field. Has all the upside that any teams will want at the position. Natural gifted thrower. Can make difficult throws on the regular. Potential is worth getting excited about. Can change arm angles to account for pressure. Has the strength to hold his ground against hits on the pocket. In terms of his weaknesses, though, despite his size, he isn't the type of player who should be running the ball. Limited athlete, play extender, cannot keep things alive without good blocking assistance, so he needs a good offensive line in order to really succeed. So he's not more of a scrambler, he's more of a gunslinger. His accuracy is an area of concern. Does not have the touch or timing to hit the receivers to strive with consistency. So mainly the receiver has to mainly get to where he wants to go and just throw it there. So he might be better like with checkdowns and shit. Has a hard time making anticipatory throws. Attacks leverage attacking leverage effectively. His struggles with getting beyond his first read limit his effectiveness. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired quarterback Josh Freeman. So definitely a QB that has a lot of upside for sure. A couple things to work on for sure, but the main thing that's going to have him be successful, he needs a good offensive line. And you're going to need to give him every single tool to succeed. Definitely, if you're going to get him, you need to give him everything to succeed. That's for sure. So the next QB we're going to go over here, hailing out of Notre Dame, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 206 pounds, we have Ian Book. So for Ian's strengths, in terms of his game, there's no easier thing to notice than his mobility, so he's a mobile QB. And he finds ways to maneuver around the pocket very well, can evade the rush on pure athleticism alone. Does very well working off script where he is able to handle botched plays or broken blocks, can make the most of the situation. So no matter what happens, he can make the most of it. And yeah, that's about it. I'm not sure where the hell I was going with that point. But anyway, in terms of weaknesses, though, I'm continuing on. In terms of weaknesses, he has quite a few issues that he'll need to clean up in order for Ian to succeed at the next level. Throw motion, extremely unrefined. Tends to lean back in his throws, takes off any and all zip. Assume he is doing so to depend on touch more than velocity. Overall deep ball accuracy is an issue. Short to intermediate accuracy is a problem as well, so he has a problem throwing anywhere. So he's definitely going to need to go under some QB guidance for sure to be successful. Often misfires, causing receivers to break stride and hurt the potential of the play to result more than yardage in the immediate catch. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Colt McCoy of the New York Giants. So definitely a QB that probably could maybe be something if he sits behind someone for 2 or 3 years. Definitely gonna need some development for sure. Maybe someone to keep an eye on for the long run too. Definitely gonna need to sit behind for a couple years for sure. And needs to work on that accuracy for sure. But still, he might be able to be something since a lot the NFL shifted toward a more mobile QBs league. So yeah, maybe someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next QB we're gonna go over here, hailing out of Mississippi State, standing 6'4", weighing 225 pounds. We got KJ Costello. So in terms of strengths, I'm decently sized, compact frame, looks ready for the NFL. Can keep his feet through some hits thanks to his size. Does a good job of using his eyes to pull defenders out of lanes. Has the ability to manipulate defenses with his body language. Has some nice flashes. His feel for manipulating the pocket, creating new platforms is a work in progress, but there are some nice flashes there. So definitely going to need to work on that for sure, but there's still some potential there for sure. In terms of his weaknesses, though, I'm one of the most mechanically flawed passers in this draft class, so has a lot of flaws in his game. Struggles to deliver the ball with consistent throwing, stroke, or setup. Damages accuracy quite a bit. Struggles to deal with pressure. His decision-making takes a notable dive when he starts to deal with chaos in the pocket. So when the pocket collapses, he has trouble making those decisions, like throwing the ball away, and may sometimes take dumb sacks or some shit like that. While he's not an adequate athlete for creating when things start to break down, he will be limited to working inside the pocket as a pro. So in terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired quarterback Seifu Liufo. So definitely a QB that's really not going to be a mobile QB. It's going to be more successful in the pocket than out of the pocket. But you're definitely going to need to give him a good offensive line if you want him to succeed. Maybe someone to take a gamble on for sure. And the final quarterback, the final player we're going to go over in this video, we have hailing out of Northwestern, standing 6'1", weighing 220 pounds. We got Payne Ramsey. So for Payne's strengths, he's a smart player, does a decent job of getting beyond his first read, and works to find checkdowns. Tough as nails, will do anything he can to make a play succeed. Stands out when he's asked to deliver under pressure or take a hit as a scrambler. He'll make good decisions, avoid putting the ball in danger from a choice perspective. In terms of his weaknesses, though, his arm strength's a major issue. He'll likely be a deal breaker for some teams. Is that arm strength issue, so that could kill any chance he has of getting drafted. He might go undrafted as a result of that. Doesn't have the type of physical tools that will allow him to consistently create outside of structure. Accuracy isn't perfect. He will need to be more consistent with his ball placement as a pro. Scrambling abilities relatively average. It's unlikely that he'll be able to use it too much success at the pro level. So in terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Nathan Peterman of the Las Vegas Raiders. So definitely a QB that has some upside for sure. Definitely has a lot of issues for sure, especially that arm strength issue. So his best bet is probably a backup QB at best. Someone that could come in case when shit hits the fan. But maybe someone to take a gamble on for sure. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here for this Detroit Lions NFL draft preview as we get started on the Day 3 draft previews. There's definitely some QBs in Day 3 that are worth taking a shot at. Since now on with the recent Jared Goff contract restructure, it pretty much means with that restructure, we're stuck with Jared Goff for the next 2 years. So Goff's definitely going to be a bridge QB. So yeah, from the looks of it, it looks like definitely Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are definitely going to give Goff at least a year or two to prove himself. Which they should, for sure. But yeah, definitely no. Detroit should still look at a QB anyway, especially Day 3. There's definitely some solid QBs, I'm honestly looking at either Keelan Mott or Jamie Newman. I think one of those two have the most upside out of everyone else in this class for sure. So definitely I'm looking at either Keelan Mott or Jamie Newman. There's some other solid names for sure there. in case shit hits the fan. But hey, definitely some names to keep an eye on for sure. But anyway, the next draft preview is going to be running back for sure, so that we can get some running back depth with Adrian Peterson gone. You know, try to find someone to complement DeAndre Swift since Kerryon Johnson's slowly starting to look like a bust. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up here. That's all I got to say. Hail to Outsiders and hail to great Detroit Master Plan. Peace.